And David, it's my question about unity of nations. Surprisingly, despite all the challenges and difficulties the war brought to our land, but the unity between nations of Great Britain and Ukraine was very seriously reinforced. Did it happen because of the understanding that Ukraine is fighting not only for its own land, sovereignty and independence, but also defending their neighboring countries, Europe and the rest of the world, from Russian attacks? I remember the days when, after full-scale invasion, within hours we had in Kiev especially military support from Britain, what very practically helped us to defend our cities. And we have that joke that yes, Russians entered Kharkiv, but they never left. And this joke appeared partially because of the highly effective support from Britain we received immediately within days when it was so critical. So what do you think about these unusual situations when the war brings difficulties, at the same time it reinforces the unity and made us probably one of the strongest allies during these times?
Well, I might surprise you a little bit, but with my age I can look back. And I don't think at the beginning any of us in the West fully understood the danger from Russia. But what we looked at was your independence in Ukraine. And you were given independence when the freedom came and the Soviet Union broke up. And we respect that. Now, if you go back in history to the last war, when Germany had attacked and conquered France and so on, why did Britain enter the war? Now, I will tell you quite accurately from history, Hitler did not want to fight Britain. He thought we would hold back. But you see, in 1939, when Germany started to attack Poland, we gave an ultimatum to Germany: either leave Poland or we will attack you. And I know where I was on the 3rd of September 1939 when Hitler refused to leave Poland and we declared war at that time to defend Poland. Now, it's very interesting if you look at this, because at that time we weren't fighting for our survival. We could have remained neutral. We could have remained on the side, and Hitler could have overrun the whole of Europe. And no, he did not want to attack Britain. But we defended Poland. Now, it's the same spirit in Britain. This is the spirit in Britain. If you look at us in history, that's why we came to your rescue, because we saw the attack against your independence. And there was no justification for war. There was no problem. You weren't a problem to Russia. You weren't, there should have been no difficulty. But the first attack, of course, was in 2014. And I would say that our mistake in the West, the whole of the West, was we didn't stop Russia then. And I think, I know you stopped Russia, but I think if we had intervened then, we would have pushed them right out. And I don't think 2022 would have happened. So I see it as a mistake in the West, not Britain, but the whole of the West. But that's why we entered the war, not because at the beginning we saw the threat to Europe. Now, of course, yes, when we see Putin's mindset, when we see what he is doing, the whole of his actions, his character, and when we see that he wants to be remembered as someone like Peter the Great who conquered territory, now we see the bigger threat. And this is why it's not only Britain, but the whole of Europe now is prepared to support you. I know we were the first, but you look at British history, Vadym, we always did that. The history of Britain is that we were always independent, and we would always be the first to defend people's freedom. And that really was what encouraged us in those days. We didn't know what the outcome would be, but thank God we stood with you from the first day of the war. In fact, before, because as you're saying, we'd already supplied you with some anti-tank weapons, which were very effective in stopping the tanks. So, yes, in effect, we were helping you even before the actual fighting started. But that's British.